सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हाँ, we'll chant the verses.
पश्यादित्यान् वसून् रुद्रान् अश्विनौ मरुतस्तथा बहून्यद्रष्टपूर्वाणि पश्याश्चर्याणि भारत। इहैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं पश्याद्य सचराचरम् मम देहे गुडाकेश यच्छान्यद्द्रष्टुमिच्छसि न तु मां शक्यसे द्रष्टुम् अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्। सञ्जय उवाच एवमुक्त्वा ततो राजन् महायोगेश्वरो हरिः दर्शयामास पार्थाय परमं रूपमैश्वरम् अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणम् दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधम् दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम् दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम् सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम् दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः। तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा ततः स विस्मयाविष्टः हृष्टरो मा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवम् कृताञ्जलिरभाषत। अर्जुन उवाच पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तथा भूतविशेषसङ्गान् ब्रह्माण्डमीशं कमलासनस्थम् ऋषींश्च सर्वानुरगांश्च दिव्यान्।
We have been studying Krishna showing the Vishwarupa to Arjuna, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. So Krishna showing Vishwarupa to Arjuna. And when we say Krishna showing it to Arjuna, it creates a confusion. It can create a misunderstanding, a confusion. The confusion or the misunderstanding is as though Vishwarupa wasn't there before. Krishna gave him a vision and then he saw a Vishwarupa. It it always leads to this misunderstanding, especially about this Vishwarupa Darshana chapter. It always leads to this misunderstanding because the words directly say that. The words directly say, Divyam dadami te chakshuhu, I am giving you the divine eye. With this eye you can see, etc. All that, if you take the words literally, it means what? Krishna is making Arjuna to a hypnotic vision, isn't it? In hypnosis, they show something, and you believe it is there in front. So generally, people believe Vishwarupa is more like a hypnotic vision because it wasn't there before. He says, now I have given you this, and then Arjuna suddenly starts seeing all these things. We do not approach Vishwarupa Darshana from that angle. We don't study Vishwarupa Darshana from that understanding. Then, then how do we see Vishwarupa Darshana? The Vishwarupa is always there. Krishna removed the obstacle by giving him the Divya Chakshu. With the ordinary eyes, the divine is not seen. So what Krishna does here? Krishna doesn't give him Vishwarupa. There is something that is blocking Arjuna from seeing the Vishwarupa. So what Krishna does? He simply removes the obstacle. If you see it like that, Vishwarupa will make some sense in reading. Otherwise, you feel like even why this chapter 10, 11 and all can be removed from the syllabus itself. Why? Because he's showing this form, he's showing that form, and then he's showing garlands, he's showing weapons, he's showing this, he's showing that. It looks more like something of an imaginary form. And also nowadays, the very big problem is everybody is believing they are intellectuals. Another major problem of today's because they have studied little bit here, some university degrees they got, as superstitions and as scared as anybody else in the past. No difference. But because of a few things they have studied here and there, little bit of half-baked science, half-baked here, half-baked here, everybody starts believing they are intellectuals, and with that misunderstanding about one's own self that they are intellectual, they see this Vishwarupa Darshana and then they say, oh no, this is not possible because it is Arjuna, it is Krishna hypnotizing Arjuna to believe in that. We come and say, no, you are having a misunderstanding of the Vishwarupa Darshana itself. What is it? First thing, there is an obstacle to Vishwarupa which Krishna removes. There is an obstacle which Krishna removes. What is that obstacle? You buy a fruit from the store. You buy a fruit from the store. A fruit is given to you from the deity. What is the difference between the fruit? Does the fruit know any difference? Does the fruit know any difference? When the fruit is given to you from the deity, how would you see it? The ordinary fruit has become the divine fruit. So divine is that which is there already. Now you are only aware of it. It's not that you come and plant the divine. It is there already. So Vishwarupa is to make you see the divine which is there already in the entire cosmos. In the entire universe is nothing but an expression of the divine. How to make you see that? Vishwarupa Darshana is a very beautiful attempt. As usual, whatever Shastras attempt, we know how to escape that also, isn't it? Whatever they try to explain to us, we know how to escape that and miss the whole point. Therefore, what happens? People keep missing this. Divine is not a physical change. Divine is a change of bhavana. Divine means it's a change of bhavana. Nothing changes outside. Something in you changes. Understand that. Divine doesn't mean don't expect any change to happen outside of you. Outside of you is already divine. Nothing needs to be outside of you. Nothing has to be done. It is already divine. Because you don't see it as divine, you need to change your bhavana. You need to change your vision. You need to change your attitude. That change of vision, that change of attitude is called bhakti. When that attitude changes, you start seeing divine everywhere. That seeing divine everywhere is called Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. So don't imagine Vishwarupa means don't, because the way Sanjay is describing that we are studying, it will look like one personal God standing there with different things on his body. The description appears to be like that. Again, I repeat, the way he describes, it looks like one huge tall figure standing there, and so many things are on the body of that one, so many things are in the body of that one personal God. That is not, that is not Vishwarupa. Therefore, everything Sanjaya, this is where we concluded. Everything Sanjaya attributes it to divine, divine, divine. Where he said even the weapons are divine. How can there be a divine weapon? The weapon also becomes divine because it is held by the Lord. And when the weapon is held by the Lord, what is the purpose of the Lord, the divine holding the weapon? Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. We have seen that already. Why the weapon is held? The weapon is held not because of, not just for the sole purpose of destruction. That destruction is a chance for you to get back to dharma. That is divine weapon. Again, every destruction that happens to you from the divine is another chance given to you to get back to dharma, to helping you to get back to dharma, helping you to get back to dharma. But generally what happens is what? We think weapon means destructive weapon causing harm and injury. When the same weapon is wielded by the Lord, it is not for destruction, it is not to injure, it is not as it's not to kill anybody, it is another opportunity to help you get back to divine. It's another opportunity, it's another attempt to help you to get back to divine. Therefore, for Sanjaya, everything is divyam, divyam, divyam. Divyam means sacred, sacred, sacred. So last we saw is the weapons. That's where we left. Verse number 10. That's where we left. With many mouths and eyes, with many marvelous visions, with many divine ornaments, with many uplifted divine weapons. Marvelous. Marvelous because it reminds you of, marvelous because it reminds you of the divine. It is so inspiring. It is so elevating. It is so ennobling. This is verse number 10. We will move to verse number 11. 11 padinga.
Divyamalyambaradharam Divyagandhanulepanam Sarvashcharyamayam Devam Anantam Vishvatomukham Divyamalyambaradharam Divyagandhanulepanam Sarvashcharyamayam Devam Anantam Vishvatomukham.
Wearing divine garlands and apparel, anointed with divine scents and, how do you pronounce that? Full of all wonders, resplendent, endless, with face on all sides. Wearing divine garlands and apparel, anointed with divine scents and unguents, full of all wonders, resplendent, endless, with face on all sides. Again, he's continuing. The Vishwarupa is continuing. Now, what is he seeing now? Divya Mala, Divya Ambara, Divya Gandha. Again, everything becomes Divyam, Divyam, Divyam. Divya means divine, divine, divine. Divya Malya, Mala becomes divine. Ambara becomes divine, decked with garlands, celestial flowers, and garments beyond imaginations. Divya Gandha Anulepana. It is anointed with extraordinary fragrant perfumes and etc. Sarvascharyamayam, great endless wonder, effulgent, Anantam, Vishwatomukam. Now, what is he talking here? The ordinary flower has become divine flower because of the association. Because of its association, the normal ones has become the divine ones. Again, because of the association with the divine, the normal ones has become the divine ones. Exactly when they do the, if you go to the temple and when they do the Abhisheka to the deity, what all they do? What all they do, isn't it? Everything that is given. There are about 9 things they use, isn't it? Right from the oil to the milk to the sandal paste water to the to the, I don't know what all they use, isn't it? Huh? Isn't it? Milk and curd and honey and fruits and you imagine somebody pouring all this on you. How it would be, isn't it? Huh? Milk will be poured on your head, curd will be poured, honey will be poured, and then not to be taken literally. See, if you take it literally, it makes no. If you take it literally, all this will make no sense at all. That's why when you interpret the verses, when you study the verses, you should know the direct meaning, the implied meaning. Some verses it is direct meaning, some verses are implied meaning. You should know how to read it. Then it makes sense. But then where implied meaning is, you will give direct meaning. Where direct meaning is, you will give implied meaning. Yeah. அப்புறம் group discussion ஸ்ரத்தான discussion வேற, isn't it? Yeah. And then discussion will also go on. Narayana, God only knows, isn't it? What's happening? So the very the very the very indication is what? It is there already. Something in you has changed Because of that, everything has started appearing to be divine. Again, divine is already there. All along you were not seeing it. Now something had happened in you that you have started to see it. Sarvascharyamayam. Everything is of wonderment only. Everything is of wonderment. Sarvascharyamayam devam. Anantam. Anantam means infinite. Infinite means the same world even now is infinite. It's not some new infinite has to come. What is there in front of you itself is infinite. We don't have the eyes to see it, that's all. Understand the difference. Divine is there, infinite is there, already in front. You don't need something new vision. What is blocking it? Remove it. Facing all directions. You can only face one direction. How can you face all directions? It means all this is not a physical event. From this you understand. All this is not physical event, because how can you see? How can you see all directions? You can't have eyes right through the skull. No. How can you see all directions at the same time? What it means is it's not a physical phenomena. It is a very deep understanding of what divine is. Whatsoever direction you move, you can't escape divine. That is Vishwarupa. Wherever you go, whatsoever you do, you can't escape divine. Is Vishwarupa. You don't have to specifically go to a place for divine. Remember that. Ekarupa, Anekarupa, all that we discussed, no? In the beginning stages, you will only go to a place for a divine. Vishwarupa means you have developed an intellectual maturity. You have gained a very deep understanding of Vedantic knowledge where you start to see everything as divine. Where you start looking everything as it. So in any direction you go, what is there? It is only divine. And you can't escape. Divine. You cannot escape the divine. Just as the pot cannot escape clay. The ornament cannot escape gold. Similarly, we cannot escape divine. Only difference is what? Previously you won't know it, now you know it. So the difference is not, so the difference is simply of knowing. Are you able to follow the difference? The difference is simply of knowing. Previously you didn't know, now you know. Nothing in the outside changed, because outside remains as divine as always. Therefore he says, Divyamalyam Baradaram, Divya Gandhanulepanam, Sarvasharyamayam Devam, Anantam Vishwatomukam. Vishwatomukam means facing all, with face on all sides. See, face on all sides means what? You can see everything. Face on all sides means all over kind of a thing. You can see everything. You can see everything means you know everything. Therefore, we understand from all this, cosmic form is not a huge physical form standing in front of Arjuna. We understand that. These are all the clues from which we understand that what is standing in front of Arjuna is not a huge physical form that we always tend to misunderstand. Rupa itself means having a boundary. Rupam means form. Form means, Rupam means form. Form means it has a boundary. And here he says, Anantam Rupam. Anantam means infinite. Infinite means formless. How can a formless have a form? So what it means is, whatsoever form you see, it is divine. Whatsoever form you see, you understand it as infinite. That is Anantam, limitless, boundless. Again, whatsoever you see, it is, whatsoever you see is limitless. Whatsoever you understand is limitless. How can there be a limitless form? Are you able to follow? How can there be a limitless form? Yes, there is a limitless form. What is the limitless form? The limitless form is this. When you see the Nama Rupa in everything, it has a limit. When you see the divine in it, it is limitless. Again, anything that you see, there are two things. One is you can see the Nama Rupa. When you see the Nama Rupa, definitely it is, that Nama Rupa is limited only. That Nama Rupa is not Anantam infinite. Distinct and different from Nama Rupa is, distinct and different from the Nama Rupa is this endless, is the endless factor. What is this? The divine, which is endless by nature. Therefore, two things. Anantam, Vishwato Mukham. And it is Devam. Devam means divine, resplendent. Divine means the generally the word Deva is interpreted as divine God. Here, the word Devam means resplendent, shining, brilliant. Sarvascharyamayam. Sarva Ascharyamayam. Everything in relation to that Vishwarupa is wonderment. Everything in creation is wonderment. That's all he's saying. Everything in creation is wonderment. What is everything in creation is wonderment? Remember that analysis. From a Mount Everest to, from the Mount Everest to a sunrise to sunset to peeling a banana to daffodils. Each and everything is a wonderment if you have the right eye. That right eye is called Divya Chakshu. Again, if you have the right eye, which is called Divya Chakshu, everything is divine. Everything is divine. If you don't have the Divya Chakshu, what you have is what? The ordinary eye, and you see only the Nama, Rupa, etc. Therefore, Divyam is what? Sarva Ascharya, wonderment. What is the wonderment? Okay, when does wonderment happen? Wonderment happens when your understanding is futile in front of that. The vastness. Wonderment always happens in relation to vastness. You see a huge ocean, you say, you see a Mount Everest, you see an ocean, the vastness makes you to go into wonderment. Are you able to follow? It means the gross eyes need such a physical expression of wonderment, a vastness. Such a physical expression of vastness, anybody can get into wonderment. Isn't it? Look at a flower, you can understand the same vastness in that flower. You see a daffodil, what vastness you see in the ocean, is the same vastness you see in that small flower daffodil. So the same Ascharya that the ocean gives you is the same Ascharya that daffodil also can give you. Then it is called Sarvascharyamayam. Sarva Ascharyamayam. Everything is full of wonders, full of wonderment, wonderment. Vastness is wonderment. In vastness, you recognize your insignificance. What is wonderment? In vastness, you understand your insignificance. Opposite of that is what? Opposite of that is you believe that there is always something that is one second. No, some noise I'm getting, some feedback I'm getting constantly. I'm trying to figure out what it is from this. Okay. Then it's a Shruti, I can't do anything with it. Because if I take it out, all of you will go away. In front of the wonderment, in front of vastness, you understand your relative insignificance. That's where Ascharya comes. Ascharya means something that exposes your insignificance. It is so vast, it is so huge, it is so big, and you look so insignificant in front of that. When in that insignificant moment, there is a very different state of existence. The different state of existence is called wonderment. That's what you say, wow. Sarvascharyamayam. For Sanjaya, look at that. For Sanjaya, everything is appearing divine. For Sanjaya, everything is appearing divine. Later on, we are going to see how Arjuna is going to get scared. The same vision, where Sanjaya is feeling it as divine, Arjuna is going to get scared and frightened. What is the difference? He is not prepared. Sanjaya is well prepared. Therefore, he sees everything as that the garlands are divine. The clothes that he is wearing is divine. The fragrances, Sarvascharyamayam, Divyam, resplendent, Anantam, endless, with face on all sides. Now, he is short of words. Now he is short of words. He doesn't know what to do now. Sanjay.
It's with regard to direct and implied meaning. I didn't understand this thing. Here he says, wearing divine garlands and apparel, anointed with divine scents and unguents. He says that. So in the battlefield, Krishna definitely should have worn the armor. I don't think would have worn any of this. And Sanjay is saying, this is what I am seeing. So what is the message I should receive?
The question is, I said the direct meaning and the implied meaning. What is the direct meaning of the verse? What is the direct meaning of the verse? You follow? When you read the verse literally, what is he saying? Wearing divine garlands and clothes, anointed with divine scents, full of wonders. Now, the form that is described is what? Is wearing divine garlands and apparel and anointed with divine scents, etc. This is the direct meaning. That's the direct meaning.
So he saw it like that in him.
That is the direct meaning of the verse. Now, what is Arjuna? If you have the divine vision, what will you see? Don't take it as what Arjuna is seeing as a form. Take it as wherever there is any garland, that is wherever there is any mala worn by anybody, that is divine. Are you able to follow? Vishwarupa is what? It's not one form that Arjuna is seeing. Sanjaya is seeing. That's what we are trying to explain from the beginning. It is not one form. In that one form, he is seeing everything. Are you able to follow? The implied meaning comes here. Direct meaning is everything is in one form. If everything is in one form, contradictions cannot coexist in one form. Therefore, it is not one form. It is something much more meaningful. That we are trying to explain. Are you able to understand the difference? But all along, everybody is so conditioned to believe Vishwarupa means one form. How much ever you hear, you cannot get rid of that notion that it is not one form. Are you able to follow? Not you, anybody. Why? Because all along we have been believing that Vishwarupa means it is one form standing in front, having all this. Are you able to follow? It is not one form. Then how can wearing divine garlands, how can he wear various divine clothes? You can wear only one pair of clothes, isn't it? If you take the literal meaning, it's so absurd. Wearing divine garlands. How many garlands? Are you able to follow? Then the question will be 1, 2, 5, how many? And then if you go to divine apparel means how many layers of clothes he is wearing. Are you able to follow? So what it means is not the literal meaning here. What it means is Arjuna, Sanjaya is having the divine vision. What is the divine vision? The divine vision is wherever there is, the divine vision is what? One is vision. When does the vision becomes divine? One is vision. When does the vision becomes divine? When you associate with divinity. That is why I gave the example. You buy a banana from the store. You are hungry. You buy a banana. You eat. You will not say, I'm having prasad. Isn't it? Will you say, I'm having prasad? You will not say that. Same banana, when it is given to you from the deity, you are hungry, you will still eat the same banana, but what do you see there? So divine, is there a different banana from the store and is there a different banana from the divine? Banana is one and the same. Are you able to follow? Then what makes it different? You able to associate it with the divine. Only when you associate it with the divine, it becomes. Only when you associate it with the divine, it becomes prasad. Are you able to follow? Opposite of that is what? Everything you see it as. Everything you see it as how we have what is known as normal vision. So Vishwarupam is seeing everything as in associated with the divine. That's why I started the session by saying Vishwarupam is not a physical event. Vishwarupam is not a physical seeing. Vishwarupam is an attitudinal change. Because of the attitudinal change, which is called as bhavana, there is a consequence perspective change. So attitudinal change and perspective change. It means nothing is happening outside, something is happening in you. Are you able to follow? Nothing is happening outside, something is happening in you. The direct meaning doesn't say this. If you take the direct meaning of the words, the direct meaning doesn't say this. What is the direct meaning? Wearing divine garlands, wearing wearing garlands, apparels. Are you able to follow? Wearing garment. Wearing divine garment. What is that word? Very simple, basic grammar. wearing garment. Are you able to follow? Take it very simple. Wearing garment, correct? Wearing, how does the garment become divine there? An adjective is brought in. The divine is an adjective that is brought in. His only straightforward meaning should have been what? He was wearing garlands and clothing, that's all. Correct? Divine garland, divine clothes. So the word divine, the word, the adjective divine has a different meaning. Do not imagine a personal God with different malas. Do not imagine a personal deity wearing different ornament, different clothings. Then what is it that he is seeing? He is not seeing one form. Vishwarupam, he is seeing everything as divine. He is not seeing one form. If you take it as one form, then there is a problem. Are you able to follow?
So he is not seeing Krishna.
He is not seeing, this is not Krishna. Where is Krishna here? There is no Krishna here. Vishwarupa is no, Krishna is one form. It is Ekarupa. Krishna is already gone. When it comes to Vishwarupa, there is no more Krishna becoming big. It is not Krishna there. It is he is seeing an infinite there, as it were. It is not Krishna. Are you able to follow? He is not seeing Krishna there.
Because of the attitude changing.
A person is standing in front. He is not seeing a person. He is seeing Krishna as divine. No, there is no Krishna there. There is divine. That's why it's called Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa means it is not Krishna everywhere like how they show in a movie. It is not Krishna. It is divine. Krishna is one Rupa. That's all. Krishna is only one Rupa. You follow? Think about it. Think about it. Verse number 12 padiko.
दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः.
If 1,000 suns were to arise all together in the sky, that splendor would be the splendor of that exalted being. Again, if 1,000 suns were to arise all together in the sky, that splendor would be the splendor of that exalted being. Now Sanjaya is getting lost for words. He doesn't know how to describe that. See, if it is one form, it would have been so easy to describe. It is not one form because it is universal. Words are, he is finding difficulty in words. Therefore, what is he doing? He is bringing in a comparison. There are two types of comparison. One type of comparison is what is there existing in the world. One type of comparison you can use is that which is existing in the world. Another type of comparison is you will be asked to imagine that. If you can't imagine, nothing can be done. Again, there are two types of similes. Here the simile that Sanjay is using is what? Sun. Not one sun, he is using 1,000 suns. 1,000 suns. 1,000 suns means it is left up to your imagination. Supposing if a person turns back and say, I can't imagine like that, sir. Then the simile will not be any help to you. So there are two types of similes. One is a simile that is existing in the world. Like when you see when you are walking in the forest, you see a wild buffalo, a bison, you don't know what it is. You say, you see the buffalo at home, it is of the same family. Here you are not used to imagine. Are you able to understand the simile? Here you are not asked to imagine anything. It is there. Understand it. It is of the same family. You understand it. That is one type of simile. Shivaji is like the tiger. Tiger, you know. Shivaji. So there is no imagination here. Are you able to follow one type of simile? The other type of simile is, technically it is called Sambhavita Upama. Sambhavita Upama means an illustration where you are expected to imagine. What is the imagination? 1,000 suns. How can you imagine 1,000 suns? Okay. Think of brightness of blazing Khatri sun. May. We have this Khatri period, no? And then they say, don't come out from 11 to 3 sometime and all this, isn't it? Imagine that blazing midday summer sun, how bright it is. That itself is too much to conceive. For most, that itself is very difficult to conceive. Imagine thousands multiplied by 1,000. How can we even conceive of that? That is the effulgence of the mighty being. That is the effulgence of that mighty being. That's what he's saying. What is that effulgence? That effulgence is this. You see it and you are asked to multiply it in your head. When you multiply it in your head, imagine there's a small group of people sitting here. Let us say 20 people, 30 people sitting here listening to this session. Let us say that. I don't know how many here. I'm saying, okay, 30. Let us say 25, 30 here sitting and listening. If we bring in a picture and show, everybody will see it rightly. There is no need for any imagination here. Supposing if we say midday summer blazing sun, how bright it is. That itself is very difficult to imagine. That itself is very difficult to imagine. And then multiply it by, imagine 1,000 such suns come about. That brilliance is indescribable. That brilliance is indescribable. One way of saying it is indescribable. Another way of saying it is asking you to stretch your imagination, and when you make that effort to stretch your imagination, and then when it is said indescribable, you conceive of something. Now we are not able to conceive of anything because we don't even stretch our imaginations. So indescribable has meaning only when you stretch it. When you try to understand one sun, and then when you try to stretch it to 1,000 suns, and then somewhere you are lost in that stretch. Beyond a point, you will be lost, isn't it? Beyond a point, you will be lost. Indescribable. So what Sanjay is trying to describe now, he's seeing a wonderful cosmic vision in front, and it is indescribable. One sun, the entire galaxies of stars become redundant. Thousands of sun comes, what will happen? You have to stretch your imagination. You can't actually see it physically. Are you able to follow? One sun itself you can't see physically. Thousands of suns not to be seen physically. He's saying that he's seeing something so wonderful that he is struggling to communicate what he is seeing, what he is inspired, and we look at him. And how we will look at him? We will look at him blank screen, isn't it? It's like a blank screen. We look at him, not knowing what is happening. Thank God to save us, Arjuna will come now. Thank God to save us, Arjuna will come. Arjuna is going to interfere now. Yes.
So cosmic vision is not imagination.
Yes. Cosmic vision imagination? The question. The answer is, what is the answer that you have been reading from the beginning? Anybody? It is not imagination. He is not hallucinating. He is not imagining. He is not seeing one small form Krishna and imagining all this. He is seeing something so wonderful, is something so beautiful that he is describing it in that manner. That's all. It is a description of the Vishwarupa, how everything is divine. Since we are not able to identify with it, intellectually you cannot identify with it. I can understand the struggle. Everybody will be going through the struggle. If you try to actually follow what is happening, you will be utterly confused. You cannot actually follow what he is saying at all. Why? Because he is not seeing one form as divine. He is seeing every form as divine. Ego can never ever see that. The ego can never see that. And it cannot be explained through words also. And Sanjay is trying to, Krishna tried through his words. If you remember, when we started Vishwarupa, this chapter, I said 3 people are going to describe Vishwarupa, I said. Who's the first person to describe? Krishna himself. Nothing happened there. Now Sanjay is describing Vishwarupa. Now who's going to describe? Arjuna is going to describe. When Arjuna describes, we can kind of relate with that Vishwarupa. Adu varaikum konja difficulty da. When Arjuna start describing Vishwarupa, we can easily, now it makes sense, sir. Idu varaikum what Krishna said, Sanjay said doesn't make any sense at all. Are you able to follow? So it is something where he is so you see something, you have to imagine the divine on that. Now, when you see a form, you only see the form. You have to imagine, you have to put in a lot of effort to imagine it as divine. And even then your mind will not cooperate. Even then your mind will not cooperate to see it as divine and all. Or you will have 1 or 2 things as divine and only you will have 1 or 2 things as divine and your vision of divine will be restricted only to that. Why? Because we are still struggling to get stuck in the Ekarupa divine. Ekarupa divine we are not yet fully understandable. We have not yet fully established in Ekarupa divine. From Ekarupa we have to go to Anekarupa. From Anekarupa we have to come to Vishwarupa. So it is far beyond our capacity, which is understandable. Why? Because we are still stuck. We are stuck in seeing divine in one form itself. We are not able to see divine completely. Can you understand that? Even in one form, you can't see divine completely. Why? Because there are some aspects in that form which is irritating to you. You will say, how this aspect can be divine? Even in one form, divine cannot be seen completely, thoroughly. That is our condition. Ram Subramaniam, Purida? Even in one form, we cannot see divine completely. Even in one form of Rama, we cannot see divine completely. Even in one form of Krishna, we can't see divine completely. Why? Because idella divine, sir, but these two things and all they should not have done, no? Are you able to follow? To this person, what is being described? Vishwarupa. 13th chapter is 13th and 15th chapter. He is going to talk about Tattvamasi and all. Oh my God. Sometimes we think we should just keep reading Fall of Human Intellect and Holocaust of Attachment again and again. அவ்வளவுதான் அத்தோட விட்டுறணும் இதெல்லாம், isn't it? It looks like again and I just keep reading only that two books only. Why come into all these things and waste our you follow? Why? Because even to see divine in one form, even to accept one form as divine wholly, fully, completely is difficult. Are you able to follow? Or in one form, you have already accepted each and everything is divine. In whose form? In your own form. That's why everything in you looks perfect, correct, complete. Are you able to follow? புரியுதா? வெளி ஃபார்ம் டிவைன்லாம் கிடையவே கிடையாது. There is one form that is divine already, that is complete already, that is perfect already. What is it? Hey, Krishna and all, it's okay. But if you have if you know me fully, you will say I am divine, not Krishna. Are you able to follow? From this level, Krishna is shifting. From this level of Arjuna, Arjuna was also like us in chapter 1. He was also like us in chapter 1. How he is gradually bringing up Arjuna to the vision of Vishwarupa. We need to come through this. We have to travel this path. Are you able to follow? Verse number 13, Badingo.
तत्रैकस्तं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देव देवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा तत्रैकस्तं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देव देवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा.
There, in the body of the God of gods, Pandava then saw the whole world with its manifold divisions resting in one. There in the body of the God of gods, Pandava then saw the whole world with its manifold divisions resting in one. Now you are going to see Arjuna entering now. Krishna spoke. Sanjaya spoke. Now Arjuna is entering into the description of the Vishwarupa. Now, what is that Arjuna's, how does the entry of Arjuna happens? Tatrai Krishnam Jagat Krishnam Pravibhaktam Anekada. Tatra means there. There is what? In that. In that what? In that Vishwarupa, in that universal form, the one in many. If you can understand that. The one in many. The one in many means you come from the opposite direction. He is coming from this direction, you are coming from that direction. He is come from one to the many, you will come from many to the, you are coming from many to the one. So, what is Pandava seeing? What is Arjuna seeing? Actually, Ekasmin sthitam. Ekasmin means in that there is only one form. There is only one form. In that one form, he saw all the distinctions. In that one form, he saw all the distinctions. Distinctions is of many. There are various types of distinctions. There are many types of distinctions. Sajati, Vijati, Swagata. These are the types of distinctions. Sajati means distinction of the same species. Vijati, different from species to species. Swagata, differences within one body. Three types of differences. Lion A, lion B, Sajati. Vijati, lion and buffalo. Swagata, in the lion, the eyes, the tail, etc. So these are all the various types of differences, distinctions. Arjuna is seeing all these distinctions in one form now. What will happen? He will not know what to do with it. Obviously, he'll get so scared. Are able to follow? What is he seeing? When you see it from a distance, it is so beautiful. When you go near and near and near, then only the problem starts. Again, when you see from a distance, it's beautiful, isn't it? A child visits you or you visit the child for 10 minutes, the child is, oh, so beautiful, sir. Wonderful child, sir. Why distance? Isn't it? Distance. You get closer and closer and closer. What happens? You get closer and closer and closer. Oh, Rakshasa, sir. Devil these are. Devil they are. Hmm? Veda means variety. Pravibhaktam means divided. Divided variety. All that he is seeing in Apashyat Jagat Krishnam. He is seeing everything in one. What is that everything that he is seeing? The Devas, the Yakshas, the Rakshasas, the Gandharvas, the Manushyas, the plants, the animals, everything in one. Each retaining the distinction but appearing as one. This is Vishwarupa. Don't ask me to repeat what I said just now. Each retaining its individual distinction but appearing as one. This is Vishwarupa. It is not everything has merged into one. The distinctions and divisions are clearly maintained. At the same time, it is seen as one. Apashyat Jagat Krishnam, saw the entire world consisting of these. So from this, what do you understand? He gives a very beautiful description of Vishwarupa now. What is that Vishwarupa now? Again, you are asked to stretch here because you are not able to see divine in the entire Vishwa. You have to stretch your imagination. What is stretching your imagination means? Just as you did for 1,000 suns. Just as you did for 1,000 suns, stretch here also. What is the stretch that you have to do here? In one form, everything is distinctly, clearly seen. That all the Sajati, Vijati, Swagata, Veda, and all that is seen very clearly, and yet all are seen as one. Abdinna, is there some form where everything was put together? Is it like that then? Is it like that then? Again, it is not like that. Isn't it? It is not like that. It is not that there is a huge form and everything was placed in at the right places. No, no. The many is seen and the one is also seen. The many is seen and the one is seen. Then only it is clarity. If you see the many and if you don't see the one, you don't have the right vision. If you are saying, I'm only seeing one, but not seeing any Veda at all, again you are hallucinating. I can't see differences anywhere, sir. Everything is God. Again, it means what? You should be able to see the distinctions clearly and also see the one behind it. Seeing the distinctions, understanding the distinctions, and yet seeing and understanding the one. That is called Apasyat Jagat Krishnam. This Pandava here is seeing that. What is he seeing? The gods and goddesses, everything that he is seeing. God of gods. He's starting to see each and everything. He's starting to see as divine. We have seen it any number of times. Wherever we use the word gods, it is the expressions, everything is seen as God, divine. It is not everything is seen as divine, everything is divine. Everything is divine. What you see is your imagination. Divine is not your imagination. The Nama, Rupa, and the consequent Raga, Dvesha is your imagination. Divine is not your imagination. Now, today, how does it look like? Nama, Rupa, and Raga, Dvesha is real. Divine, you have to somehow imagine, isn't it? Divine, you have to somehow imagine. Why? Because the Nama Rupa is real. Consequent of the Nama Rupa is Raga and Dvesha. So, Raga Dvesha internally, Nama Rupa externally. Both are so interconnected. So, when you are seeing that, what divine can you see? You can't see divine at all. Then what is seeing divine means? If I stop associating with Nama Rupa, the Raga Dvesha goes away. If I stop associating with Nama Rupa, the Raga Dvesha goes away. To whatever extent you stop associating with Nama Rupa, to that extent your Raga Dvesha goes away. What remains is divine. Instead of you bringing in divine, you remove the obstacle that you have been keeping it. The divine that is already there reveals as it were. Reveals as it were. There in the body of the God of gods, Pandava, then saw the whole world with its manifold divisions, resting in, in one. Last verse, 14.
ततः स विस्मयाविष्टः हृष्टरो मा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवम् कृताञ्जलिरभाषत ततः स विस्मयाविष्टः हृष्टरो मा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवम् कृताञ्जलिरभाषत.
Then he, Dhananjaya, struck with wonder, horripilating, bowing his head to the god, spoke with joined palms. So, first thing that Arjuna is doing is what? First thing that Arjuna is doing is Namaskara he is doing. The palms. Now, Vishwarupa is not described in this verse. Who's described in this verse? Arjuna is described. And what is the description of Arjuna? Struck with wonder. Vismaya Vishtaha. Rishta Roma. Struck with wonder. Not Ascharya, wonderment like Sanjaya. These are all very subtle clues that you have to pick up. The English word says wonderment here, wonderment there. But then in the at the first layer of commentary, that's how you have to explain it. When you in this classroom, we are trying to go one step deeper also, because we are not bound by time here, we are not bound by the number of pages restrictions and all. Therefore, what do we do? So struck with wonder, Vismaya Vishtaha versus Ascharya. So what they do a lot of comparative study between the two itself. That comparative study brings a difference of the adhikari. That comparative study itself brings the distinction of the adhikari. So what is Arjuna? Vismaya Avishtaha and Ascharya. Horripulating. Rishtaroma. Horripulating means hair standing on end. In fear also hair stands on end. In moments of inspiration also hair stands on end. In the case of Arjuna here, it is not out of inspiration, it is standing on end. Bowing his head to the God. Bowing his head to the God. Pranamya Shirasa. Pranamya Shirasa. Kritanjalihi. Kritanjalihi means with palms. So, how is Arjuna standing in front of this Vishwarupa now? You will make him stand for a week like that, isn't it? Let him stand like a serial Madrid, Ram Subramanian, isn't it? You will make it look like that now. Yeah, he will be standing like this, and 1 week he can wait. Horripulating. He is horripulating. Horripulating means hair standing on end. Bowing his head to the God. Pranamya. Bows in reverence with joined palms. This joined palms symbolizes there is an aspect of devotion in him, and then there is an aspect of fear in him. He is like, what in the modern day they call as mixed emotions. Isn't it? In the modern day they call it as Shailesh, correct? Mixed emotion, isn't it? Meaning, actually you don't know what you are feeling, but you are feeling everything, isn't it? Actually you are feeling, okay, highly confused existence, that's all, nothing else. Yeah. Mixed emotion is nothing but highly confused, not knowing whether to claim. It is like a joke we say, the dog barking and wagging the tail, isn't it? Barking for what you don't know, the tail also wags, we don't know, isn't it? Mixed emotion. It is so mixed an emotion. Then means tataha, then. Few verses it took for Arjuna to really, maybe he had some drops also in his eyes, isn't it? So a few minutes he has to wait for the vision to get clear. Now he's seeing the vision. How he's seeing the vision now? Mixed emotions. What is the mixed emotions? Struck with wonder, horripulating, bowing his head to the God, spoke. He started talking. What did he start talking? Next week. We'll continue. Yes, Ram Subramaniam. And then there's an announcement also which I forget and I keep, and everybody sends me reminders every day. You are forgetting, you are forgetting, you are forgetting. Venkat, அது போட்டு கொடுத்துருங்க. And same. Yes, Ram Subramaniam.
Sir, Hari Om, sir.
Yes.
Sanjaya describing all the happenings on the battlefield. Yeah, we have been studying that here, and also earlier on when we saw Mahabharata on TV and all that, we are sort of familiarized with that. Because Dhritarashtra is physically blind, Sanjaya explains everything to Dhritarashtra, even his 100 sons being killed by Bhima and all those things, which is going to come up later on.
Yes.
So the question here is very basic question on physical boundaries, sir. So during the part of Sanjaya Uvacha, when Sanjaya is speaking to Dhritarashtra,
yes,
what is Arjuna? Is Arjuna seeing and hearing that? Because they are in Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya are in different physical space. Krishna and Arjuna are in different physical space. So is the cosmic eye given by Krishna to Arjuna enabling Arjuna to see the conversation? I mean, the monologue from Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. Is he seeing and hearing that, sir? That is the question.
Thank God he is not hearing all that. Otherwise, he will be utterly confused. Because he is so confused as to what is happening in front of him only. Arjuna doesn't have the divine eye. Sanjaya is reporting which Arjuna didn't even know. Nobody on the battlefield even knows that this kind of report and all is happening. It is purely a conversation that was happening between Sanjaya and
Dhritarashtra.
Thank God this conversation happened. We got Bhagavad Gita. If Sanjaya wasn't reporting to Dhritarashtra, we wouldn't have even got Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna is not going to come and say, this is what I spoke in Bhagavad, this is what I told Arjuna. Krishna is not going to say, nor Arjuna is going to remember. So, this question, what is the question? Does Arjuna know what Sanjaya is speaking to Dhritarashtra? Correct?
Yes, sir.
That's the question. The answer is, I don't know. That's the answer. I don't know. I'm inferring he may not know. Actually, I really don't know. Ram Subramaniam, answer purida.
Okay.
Now wait for an announcement. Announce பண்ணுங்க வெங்கட். நீங்க தான் பேசணும் வேற. From March 1 to March 5, we are planning a Upanishad retreat, residential Upanishad retreat here in Chennai for 5 days. It's going to be a residential retreat for 5 days on the Upanishad, KNO Upanishad. Those who are interested in wanting to attend the retreat, and obviously you know who's going to be the teacher there, no? Srikanth. Yaar edukurangan kekkudadu, isn't it? Obviously that is very implied here. Yeah, it's me only. So there is a 5-day residential retreat on Keno Upanishad from March 1 to March 5. The details will be shown now. Whoever is interested in wanting to know more details, wanting to join the 5-day retreat, contact the 2 numbers. இப்போ அதை போட்டு விட்டுருங்க. Upanishad Retreat 2024. Sri Arvindan, Keno Upanishad. என் photo வேற இருக்குது அதுக்கு. By whom willed and directed does the mind alight on objects? Endowed by whom does primeval prana function? By whom willed does speech originate? What spirit indeed directs the eye and ear? Thus asked the Sishya to the Guru, Keno Upanishad. Choice Upanishad, Swamiji. register to listen, contemplate. இதெல்லாம் என்னோடது கிடையாது. I don't know who wrote this. Register to listen, contemplate and internalize the secret enshrined within the Upanishad. Oh my God. This sentence looks like one retreat is needed to explain this sentence. In a serene environment with fellow seekers in the 5-day residential program. Course highlights, lecture sessions, group discussion, Q&A, self-study. Dates, March 1st to March 5th. Venue, shelter, resorts, Mahabalipuram, blah, blah, blah. Information and registration. Contact Manoharan Subbaya, Meera Krishnan. Oh, tragedy. Anyway, contact these two people only. Anything. Is it okay, Venkat? Is there anything else that has to be announced? Only this much, no? With this, we conclude for today.